So, I know it's only the 26th of September today, but I decided that I would do a video about my September bot haul. I thought that September was going to be a virtually bot free month, to be honest with you. After spending a lot of money and going to Transformers Nation and enjoying everything I saw there and bringing back a big haul there, I thought, you know what, there's not going to be many things that I wanted. Yeah, right. So the month started off with something major, something I really wanted from Transformers Nation, and it wasn't there. I was gutted. It was going to be my first venture into the third party world, and I did pick up a third party Shockwave and Perceptor from Transformers Nation, but this is the one I really wanted. And I saw it on eBay for about I think it was about £140, but I managed to get him down to 115. It's DX9's Tyrant. This figure is absolutely incredible. Yes, his fingers are a little bit loose. He can't grip anything like he's kind of had a mild stroke or something like that. But you know what? That aside, all the other joints are tight. He is Galvatron. For years and years, we've been waiting for a Galvatron to do the character justice. I've got some of the G1, my G1 Galvatron. I've got a reissue purple one that Graham Inkyboard sold me. And that was probably the nearest thing. Got a classics one as well, which is utter tap, to be honest with you. It won't transform right, panels won't fit in place. So yeah, for a long time I've been waiting for a Galvatron. The Times Return one come and I've picked up that one, and it's great and it's a great fun toy. But this is Galvatron. I was tempted to wait about for the Fans Toys version, but you know what? I'm happy I didn't. This guy is absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if you know, but it comes with a little matrix of leadership on a chain, which is probably the best matrix that I own. I've got a lot in the third party Rodimuses and MP10, MP1, but that one's definitely the best one. I have got on his more toy accurate cannon with the glittery sparkly bits in there. He does come with a gold one, but I just think this one just looks better on him. I absolutely love this toy, and it's a bit strange this month because I put on Twitter the top 5 bots, the top 5 robots that I own, and this month I think there's 2 or 3 that I bought this month that could enter that top 5. That's how amazing this month has been. So, put Galvatron back down there. So, then something I pre-ordered, and I wasn't expecting it until the end of the month, maybe the beginning of this month, but I had the invoice come through from Cabal, and it was like, crap, I've just bought Tyrant, and now I've got to find another £100 for this guy. Now there's a lot of debate. I've been looking at Apollyon for a while, and I thought, you know what, that I want to get one of those, and they went for about 170, 180 quid. And I thought, no, I'm not going to bother with that. And then I saw I think it was Desptron, or whatever it was, at TF Nation. He looked good, but I saw this guy, and DX9's Mitron, so same make as the Galvatron the Tyrant that I've just been talking about, and this guy's even better. To me, this is G1 Megatron. This is how he should look. He's cartoon accurate, which is something I really go for in my G1 Transformers, and he just looks the part. The joints are all tight. How the cannon shrinks down is just brilliant because he fits into proportions. It's an incredible toy, and I've seen people on the internet criticising the toy and say, I don't like the front of his legs, I don't like the back kibble. I don't give a flying shit about the back cable, to be honest with you, and I know that affects some people, but I don't generally put my figures up on the shelf with their faces facing towards the wall. I don't genuinely do it. Some people might want to do that, some people find that important. I genuinely don't. At the end of the day, what I find important is, is it posable? Does it look how he should do? And yes, he does. This is Megatron. And as I say, I've seen Apollyon, I've seen Destron, and this guy is exactly how he should be. And this is another one of those bots that could really force his way up into the top 5 ones I own, because he's phenomenal. And standing next to MP10, it's amazing. It's almost like we all remember the G1 Megatron and the G1 Optimus Prime and fighting with those as a kid and playing with them, and actually in reality they didn't look like they did in the show. Megatron was a great complicated piece of engineering, but he was very difficult to play with as a kid. And in my head, when I used to play with these guys, this is how Megatron looked, and that's why I'm so happy. And I know there's going to be another few versions of Megatron. I've seen one, I forget what it's called, but he changed into a double barrel pistol, quite conceptual gun. That looks great, brilliant. I'm all for something new, I'm all for new designs, but I needed a G1 Megatron to fit into my collection, to fill a hole, and this has filled it. It's a great toy. So, moving on, I then picked up 2 guys from the Entertainer, and I promised myself I wouldn't buy them from the Entertainer because they're £20 each in the deluxes and all that kind of stuff, but I'd gone to Lichfield, which is a small city in the West Midlands, and there was a food festival on, so we were walking around and I managed to sneak into the Entertainer, and lo and behold, I found these 2 guys. I found Weird Wolf, or Wolfwire, or whatever they want to call them these days. Actually, some kids must have trashed the entire shop because there wasn't a single Transformer on a hanger. And I just saw a Titans Return sticking out underneath a pile of robots, and it was this guy. So I thought, 20 quid or not 20 quid, I've seen it now. And I always remember when I was a kid leaving a robot, I think it was Hook, when I seen him and I didn't have him, and then I regretted not picking him up and I didn't find him again for months. So when I see one now and I need it and I want it, I'll pick it up. And yeah, great. He's a great figure. Also, at the same visit, I found this guy. Someone had hidden him behind some of the Combiner Wars Voyagers, and yeah, they didn't hide him very well because he's mine now, so whoever hid it, haha. But these 2 figures are absolutely amazing. For anyone who hasn't tried the Titans Return line yet, please do. Yes, Hasbro are charging £20 odd, or the toy shop's charging £20 odd for these deluxes, but they're the right balance of nostalgia for me and updating, and they're just fun. They're great for kids and they're great for us collectors. They're amazing figures. So yeah, amazing. Love these 2 figures. Probably out of the entire Wave 2 deluxes, I'd say this guy is my favourite. Just because I didn't expect him to be. So he's great. Then, for the people who follow me on Twitter, you've known I've been selling on a few bots and that kind of stuff, and I mentioned this in my last video, but I managed to raise the funds through some sales for Unite Warriors Computron, my first Unite Warriors figure. He's great. I'm not going to dwell in too much, I've spoke about him before in another video, but I went for this guy because I like my cartoon accuracy over my G1 toy accuracy, and that's just a personal preference. I can completely understand the people who prefer the toy accuracy, and that's great, that's just what they're into. I like the cartoon accuracy, and to be honest, I'm a bit gutted with myself that I haven't bought any of the Unite Warriors figures before because they are more cartoon accurate. All my Combiner Wars are the Hasbro versions, so they're generally more toy accurate. You know what, that's fine. They fit in my collection, great. But when I saw this guy, yes, he doesn't come without Scrounge. I'd never heard of Scrounge, to be honest. I hadn't read the comics that he was in. It's nice to have a six figure for the money, but the paintwork on this guy, my only criticism of him is that I think if we're looking at how the toys look, I think the Hasbro Afterburner looks better in the orange and the green. But other than that, I'm over the moon with this guy. Strafe is amazing. Nose Cone is great. Lightspeed looks like Lightspeed. And the work that they've done as well on Scattershot, because I had the Hasbro version, which I've now sold on, was brilliant. So yeah, great toy. So I did post on Twitter, probably one of the worst secrets in retail is that Smiths had a 20% off day a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. So I went, actually I was at work, my wife went in and I gave her a list of all the Titans Return figures that I needed. And I knew they had Soundwave in stock. I've got the Blaster mould and he's a good fun figure. Again, right balance of nostalgia. Love how he looks, likes how he transforms. The base mode's really cool for kids, brilliant. So she went in there anyway, and they didn't have any of the deluxes, they didn't have any of the Voyagers at the time. So she picked me up, Leader Soundwave. So, criticisms that I've read online. His eyes are too big. Yeah, they are a bit, but fuck it. He's very blocky. He changes into a cassette recorder or tape player or whatever he changes into. He changes into a square or an oblong or a rectangle or whatever you want to call it. He is going to be blocky. And I love this guy simply because he's a right balance between a great fun toy to play with that isn't complicated, that you're not worrying about breaking because he's a masterpiece and you spent 150 quid on him or whatever it is. Yes, it cost about £36 with a discount or whatever it is, but things pop off, you can pop them back on, and he's fun. He really is a fun figure. And this is my only criticism with him, is that isn't Soundwave's gun, that's Blaster's gun, painted blue or moulded in blue plastic. So the only thing that I would like from this guy is his iconic weapon. But other than that, for the money, you're not going to get a better Soundwave. So yeah, love this guy, great.